Hello and welcome back to Transfer Review. This is the show where we take a deeper dive into some of the biggest rumours doing the rounds in European football. And today, joining me to discuss them is Chris Hamill.
Thank you, mate. Yes, we are back with yet more transfer rumours in this busy off-season, and today's headline story is Kevin Gameiro to Barcelona. What do you think, pal, to the 29-goal striker?
Well, it looks like he might be priced at around 40 million euros. That's the story we're getting from Catalan newspaper Sport. I can see why Barcelona would go for this. Gameiro is very, very fast. He's experienced, he's versatile, can play wide or through the middle. They need backup to MSN. It looks like Arda Turan might be off. And though I think the fee is very high, as you said, he got 29 goals in 52 last season. That's his best season ever. He got 7 assists as well. So he looks like somebody who could do a job for them and maybe tide them over until somebody like Munir is ready to break into the first team. Munir, they've just recently signed up to a long-term contract. This makes a lot of sense for me.
And let's look at a few reasons why Sevilla would sell Pato. He's 29. 40 million for a 29-year-old is great business. They've been linked with little Argentinian forward Vieto from Atleti, albeit on a loan deal with a view to buy for 20 million. Now, he didn't have the greatest season last season with 2 goals in 22 appearances, most of them as sub, but he has undoubted talent. And they've just signed Vasquez from Palermo, who again is not an out-and-out forward, a bit like Vieto, but he did get 8 goals and 7 assists last season, which is not a bad return for someone playing in the attacking midfield role. So Sampaoli might want to use this money to rejig the squad, and in the long run, Pato, it could be to Sevilla's benefit, albeit losing a big player.
Yeah, well, that would be rough. This comes from Sport. They're a Barcelona supporting paper, and so they do have good links with the club. On the other hand, if Barcelona end up losing out on Gameiro and he goes to Atletico Madrid, they will probably want to paint it as Barca pulling the plug rather than getting rejected. Now, the fee is high, but if Barca sell Arda Turan, then we could definitely see them putting the money towards a proven La Liga forward. So, Christoph, is this going to happen? What do you think?
Well, I can't see him going to Atleti, Pat. They normally like to go for players with resale value. Look at the likes of Griezmann, look at the likes of Aguero, look at the likes of Falcao. So for me, this one is more feasible to Barcelona as backup for MSN, as they so desperately needed last season. We think he may end up at the Camp Nou.
Next up is Mario Mandzukic. He's the latest forward linked to West Ham in their interminable search for somebody to lead the line next season. Tuttosport report that he could be on his way to East London for a fee in the region of around 20 million euros. Christoph, can we see why West Ham would buy him?
Well, it's no secret they are still in the market for a forward, is it, mate? They struck out with Batshuayi, Carlos Bacca and Lacazette. Unfortunate for them. But they need someone next season for Payet to play off, who, in a similar mould to Mandzukic, enjoyed playing off Gignac at Marseille and Giroud at the Euros. So, in terms of playing style, this actually might suit them pretty well. The guy's very physically gifted. He's an absolute battering ram, winning 2.5 headers per game in the Serie A last season. They do already have a striker in his mould in Andy Carroll, mate, but can they rely on him? He did enjoy various spurts of form when he came back from injury last season, but injury is the issue. The guy is always out. I don't think Bilic can rely on him. I think this would be quite a savvy signing as well. With reports of a bid in the region of £20 million as well, that is not bad money. And we know West Ham, they don't mind throwing cash at a short-term solution. What do you think, mate?
Well, I can see why Juve would sell him. Higuain is done or almost done. Mandzukic, as we know, is not willing to play it back up. When Bayern signed Lewandowski, even though they didn't have great depth at centre forward, he immediately left for Atletico Madrid. Now, he's 30 years old, and whilst players tend to age quite well when they have his style of play and also when they're playing in Serie A, it is probably Juve's last chance to get a decent amount of money for him. And as you said, the Hammers are perfectly happy to bid themselves up and up and up. On the other hand, Juve might want to keep him as a backup to Higuain. As you said, he's very, very good in the air. Higuain is not that aerial powerhouse, and it would be nice to have him as a plan B next season if they want to go deep in the Champions League, as well as maintaining their status as perennial Scudetto winners in Italy.
This story comes from Italian newspaper Tuttosport, who are a less than reliable source. However, with reports coming out of Croatia, this one may have some legs in it. But what do you guys at home think? Would Mandzukic adjust well to the Premiership? Let us know in the comments below. And the next story on our radar, mate, is the little chief, Javier Masherano, to the old lady, Juventus, pal. What are you saying?
Well, we can understand why Juve would want him. He is an absolutely phenomenal defensive midfielder, though he's been playing centre-back for Barcelona, that means he could cover both positions. And with Juve only having 2 defenders under the age of 29, that's Rugani and Alexandro, they can expect to have a lot of rotation in that position. Now they've brought in Miralem Pjanic already, but he is an attacking midfielder and he lacks the defensive capabilities that people like Arturo Vidal had in the past or Paul Pogba. So this is a sign that perhaps Allegri is moving towards specialists for different positions. Now they already have Khedira, they have Storaro, they have Marchisio, guys who can perform a defensive role, but Mascherano is much better than those guys and he's a lot fitter and healthier than Khedira and Marchisio. On the other hand, he's 32, so if they're going to get some health out of him, it's going to be in the short term.
Yes, he may be 32, Pat, but he made 31 starts for the Catalan club in La Liga last year. 28 of them were at centre-back. I don't think Luis Enrique is going to want that sort of experience to walk out the door. I don't think he's going to entrust Umtiti, who's very raw at this point, with that centre-back berth. And where else are you going to find a defender with a 90.5 pass accuracy, mate? That is hugely impressive. And should Sergio Busquets get injured, they only have Sergio Samper as a recognised CDM, whilst Mascherano is playing at centre-back, to cover for his position. So not only does this guy offer vast experience, he offers cover in a number of positions.
Now this story comes to us from Corriere dello Sport. It's a typical Italian story really, it's probably mostly bollocks. They also link Rakitic, Matic, Kovacic and Brozovic to Juve. So it certainly seems like they've chucked a bunch of names ending in "-ich", apart from Mascherano, at a wall and hoped something would stick. There's no fee mentioned either, but chances are to tempt Barca into a sale, it would have to be pretty expensive for a 32-year-old. Christoph, what do we think is going to happen?
Well, I agree with you, mate. As you say, the only reason Barcelona would sell is to recoup a fee for him at this late point in his career, but he's not going anywhere, mate. The fans love him, the management love him, he's revolutionised that centre-back role. He's an absolute don, and we think he's staying at the Nou Camp.
Next up is Mauro Icardi. Sky Italia report that Napoli might be willing to spend up to 50 million euros of the Gonzalo Higuain money on replacing him with Inter Milan's 23-year-old Argentinian forward. Christoph, why would they go for Icardi?
Well, if we're talking Serie A, this guy would not be a bad replacement at all, would he, Pato? He got a very credible 16 goals last season in an Inter team that only scored 50. I could see him fitting perfectly into Napoli's system. They've got 2 of the league's best creators in Insigne and Hamzic. And Pau, he's only 23, as you say, and his shot accuracy has got better every season, which indicates he's coming into a real purple patch of form. What do you think?
Well, yeah, he has become more of a poacher over the last few years, and as a result, I don't think Inter Milan are going to want to let him go. As you said, they didn't score a lot of goals last season, and Icardi's goals and assists represent 40% of all the strikes they managed in Serie A. He's also their captain and reasonably experienced for a 23-year-old, so they're not going to want to let him go. However, his agent, Wandanara, has been angling for a new contract, and the club, though admitting that Napoli have been in contact, have said that they're not willing to initiate talks over a new contract. So it's possible that if the relationship between the two breaks down, then they might be willing to let Icardi go.
So this comes from Sky Italia, and within the report, Inter have at least admitted to having the conversation. So this one may have some yards in it. However, as you say, Wandanara has been angling for a move all summer, and Icardi's been linked with everyone from Arsenal to Juventus. But what do you think, Inter fans? Will he stay? Will he go? Let us know in the comments below. This brings us to the final part of the show, where we reveal the worst, most rubbish transfer rumour we've heard this week. It is the transfer shocker. Ooh. And this week it is Anthony Martial to PSG, because Zlatan took his number 9 shirt. It is a case of toys being thrown at the pram, apparently. What do you think, Pato?
Well, the Metro are reporting that PSG are set to swoop in for Martial. He's apparently so devastated at wearing the number 11, which he wore for Monaco and currently wears for France, that they think that they've got a chance of taking him away from Jose Mourinho. Now, this is typical Metro bullshit. It's a recycled rumour from L'Equipe from back in May. There's zero chance of this one happening, Chris.
I mean, he did recently unfollow them on Twitter,
Ooh.
Pat, which was hilarious. Oh. Someone took my mug in the office the other week. You don't see me walking out. Did I walk out, Pato? No, I didn't.
Complained a lot.
But, guys, have you seen a worse one? Have we missed something? Let us know in the comments below.
So that was our transfer review, but what are the biggest rumours that you've seen? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed this video, guys, be sure to check out Monday's Euro Roundup, where we rate some of the biggest transfers from the summer so far.
And as ever, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Peace.
So those were some of this week's biggest transfer rumours, but what did we miss? What have you seen? Brilliant.